And then now that gas prices are going through the roof, first he says he's responsible, his policies are responsible for bringing the gas prices down by just a few cents. Then they skyrocket way past that. He blames everybody else. And he says over and over and over again, it's not me. We are not, they are saying it still to this day. We are doing nothing to minimize production of oil and gas in this country. And it's like, well, wait a minute. Were you lying to all your Green supporters that whole time? You kept saying over and over and over again you were going to stop this dirty fossil fuel agenda. And now you're saying you're not doing anything to stop it? Of course, the truth is they've done plenty to stop it, and they've done plenty to get your gas prices even higher. And I want to focus on one particular committee hearing from just a few months ago, back in the day, long ago, when they were still denying it was a problem at all. This is back from October, and it's highlighted by the Washington Free Beacon. Let me give you some highlights here. In late October, the House Oversight and Reform Committee called the CEOs of Exxon, BP, Shell, and Chevron in to explain what steps they are taking to produce less oil and gas, with Representative Hank Johnson, probably the dumbest single representative in the entire city of Washington, let alone just Congress, alleging that the world can't wait any longer. Mo Khanna demanded to know whether Shell will decrease its production by 2% each year. Khanna also demanded to know whether Chevron CEO Michael Wirth was embarrassed that his company has increased production, while European counterparts were going down. When Wirth said that global demand has increased, Khanna asked for a commitment to help bring the actual demand of oil production down. Representative Robin Kelly, a Democrat from Illinois, continued Khanna's line of questioning Watkins, asking, will Shell commit to reducing gas production as part of its emission reduction plans? And this has gone on and on and on and on, where all of these representatives, the entire Democratic Party, up until like 2 weeks ago, was telling you they were trying to get oil production down. Now they're denying they've had any effect on this whatsoever. This is not their problem. They didn't do it. It's evil gas companies, evil oil companies, Vladimir Putin, transphobes. I don't know who they're blaming for your high gas prices now. And in a really stunning update to the story, Democrats scheduled a follow-up hearing to that committee hearing we were just talking about with oil executives for Tuesday, March 8th. That hearing was subsequently canceled last minute with no explanation given. I don't know. I think they have given the explanation. They don't want to say those things again in public because they don't want you to remember them, especially in an election year. This is the way the Democrats have handled gas and oil for a long time. If you go back and you look at fossil fuels, even with Barack Obama as he's coming into office, he's saying he wants to bankrupt coal companies, bankrupt them. I mean, when have you ever heard a politician come in and say, they're usually saying, we're going to create all these jobs. He wanted to bankrupt an industry. He talked about it openly. This has been a fight they've been engaged in for a very long time. A war on fossil fuels from the left, from Democrats, is very, very real. And it is a big chunk of the reason why you're paying higher gas prices. Now, Vladimir Putin is also a reason. Increased demand is also a reason coming out of COVID. There are other reasons. But Joe Biden is central to this story, and he wants you to know he could be central to the path out of it as well.
Under my plan, which is before the Congress now, we can take advantage of the next generation of electric vehicles that a typical driver will save about $80 a month from not having to pay gas at the pump.
$80 big dollars per month. What would you do with that $80 per month? Now, look, we'd all like to have $80 per month more. Of course, but is it really $80 per month? Most people immediately jumped to the obvious thing here. Buying a new car of any type is obviously not a way to save money. We all know that cars, not exactly the greatest investment in the world. Although right now, maybe they are. I don't know. I can't get one. I'm over 7 months now, and I still don't have a car. I ordered it over 7 months ago. Still don't have it. So I don't know. At this point, I'm willing to pay like triple. To get your hands on a car these days, it is a little bit difficult. But generally speaking, cars not known as the greatest investments in the world. And if you're driving a 2012 Honda Civic, going to an electric car is not going to be a savings here. Even if you go to a Nissan Leaf, which is the bottom of the market when it comes to prices for electric cars, you're still paying $35,000, $40,000 for a new car. If you want to go to the average car, you're about $55,000. You want to get into a nice Tesla, you're even higher than that. You can go for a Tesla, you could easily be into six figures without even thinking about it. So your $80 a month saving really gets wiped out pretty quickly. But we also have this weird picture of what happens when you get an electric car. This idea that you get an electric car and then you might pay a little bit more at the beginning, but you're going to pay nothing for gas. Well, yes, you'll pay $0 for gas. That's true. However, you do pay for the electricity that charges the car. People don't realize this. I think people have erased it from their memory. They think they're going to get an electric car, and I'm just going to plug it into my house, and it's going to be fine. Well, let's go through this a little bit. First of all, electricity costs things. I don't know if anyone noticed this. In fact, Elon Musk had to deal with this on Twitter just the other day. Someone asked him, hey, Elon Musk, supercharging has gotten very expensive the last few weeks. This is similar to filling up with gas at this point. Any idea why it's so expensive all of a sudden? A supercharge to fill up the car there for only 20 minutes costs $24.20. Now, that's obviously still cheaper than filling up your gas tank at this point, but that's not nothing. I mean, you're reducing the cost here, but you're not eliminating it. Elon Musk says, we'll find out. Our aspiration is just to make a modest return versus the fully considered price of supercharging. Now, you don't have to supercharge your car. If you're going to go supercharge a Tesla, it might take you a half an hour to fill up your car. Now, that's still a lot longer than putting some gas in your tank, but it's not hours and hours and hours and hours. It could be a relatively quick process. If you're on a longer road trip, might make sense. If you're pulling up to a store and they have a Tesla pump, electricity charger outside, might be something you could do while you're shopping. You know, like the place where I take my kids to get pancakes sometimes has a Tesla charger outside of it, usually empty, but people could go in and while they're getting breakfast, charge up. However, not free. You're still paying something. And you might say, well, I don't have to get it supercharged. I can just charge it at home. How much have you looked into this? Have any of you guys looked into what it's like to charge your car at home? I have. Over the past 7 months, I've gone through a whirlwind of emotions of trying to figure out what the hell I'm going to be driving in the future. And I've looked at the electric cars because, as I've said a million times, back in that 2006 special we did with Glenn Beck, I'm not against Tesla or electric cars. I think they're pretty cool. I've driven a Tesla before. It's incredibly fast. It's really, the technology is amazing. The self-driving stuff they're doing is really cool. There's a lot to be said for Tesla and some other electric cars as well. But there's a lot to think about here. First of all, you can plug in your car in a supercharger and get it charged up in like a half an hour or so. But they're not all over the place, and it's not going to be necessarily easy. Most people are going to do this at home. And you can plug in your electric car into a normal wall outlet and charge it. It's true. Have you ever looked at how long that takes to charge? I have. It's about 2 to 3 days. 2 to 3 days to charge your car fully in a normal outlet. Now, look, you're not going to run it down to 0% every day. If you're just running back and forth to work, it might work, generally speaking, for you. But it's not an overnight charge out of a normal plug. That's not the way this works. If you want an overnight charge out of a plug inside your house, you're going to have to do a little legwork. You're going to have to get a more industrial strength electricity supply put in your house. And, you know, that's not the most crazy thing. But again, when we're talking about saving $80 a month, it kind of is a crazy thing. Let me give you the details on how much this is going to charge you. At-home EV charging station installation costs. If your home already has a 240-volt circuit available, the basic installation will cost you between $250 and $400. Now, that's the basic, most easy charge, and that's 3 to 5 months of the supposed saving from Joe Biden. However, if you choose to mount a station and run a 50-amp dedicated wiring, it will cost you between $400 and $1,700. Now we're at over 20 months at the high end there. It costs between $1,500 and $4,500 to mount a new station, install a new service panel, do the wiring, and equip it with a 240-volt outlet. You see how ridiculous this gets. The years and years and years of savings can be wiped out by just the basic framework to get your car charged at your house, let alone actually buying the car, or the absolute truth that you're still paying for the electricity that comes through the wall. That's still on your electricity bill. Just because you're not taking your credit card out every time you use it, don't be fooled. You're still paying for it. So this is what people don't understand. They don't look at this stuff all that closely. And, it's fascinating to look at the electric car market. For all the attention that Elon Musk has got and Tesla has received over the years, all of the haranguing, all of the threats of the existential threat of global warming and all the terrible things it will do. It's going to kill hundreds of millions of people. We know all the stories. We know all the money the government has thrown at electric car companies to try to force you to buy it. We know they're paying thousands of dollars every time one of these cars is sold. Well, how many are actually being sold? This is incredible. Car makers sold a record 657,000 electric cars in 2021, but the figure made up only 4.4% of new car sales, according to analysis by Bloomberg. The percentage doubled from slightly over 2% in 2020. SUVs and pickup trucks comprise about 70% of 2021 sales, according to Kelley Blue Book. So after all of this attention, electric cars are 4% of the market, and SUVs and trucks are 70% of the market. It's incredible, the perception that we have here, and the idea that you're just going to churn these things out and it's going to change this immediate problem is just insanity. Look, the truth is, the industry is moving toward electric cars, and they're doing it quickly. By 2030, most of these companies have already announced they're not going to be making any internal combustion engines. This, for lack of a better word, sucks. The internal combustion engine is America in a nutshell. Think about it. We've not only figured out a way to bring power to the people, we then put millions of mobile power plants on the roads. It's incredible. And I think I'm like a lot of Americans here, I will be sad to see the gas-powered car go away, if indeed it actually does. But I don't think we've really thought this out, have we? Yeah, electric cars can do some amazing things. The Tesla is basically a computer on wheels, and it's fast. The Porsche Taycan is an effort to make a real driver's car out of an EV. And they are great-looking cars, and they are basically as fast as any internal combustion engine that has ever been made, regardless of price. Look, there's some cool stuff in this market. I'm not denying it. But what happens with our electricity grid when everyone goes electric? It's old already. It gets overwhelmed often. In California, if you microwave 2 burritos in the same week, the entire grid goes into brownout mode. And we want to make everyone drive an electric car? This seems a little crazy, doesn't it? And how about just think about all of the oil change service centers on every corner, every one of these quick lube places. All of these just go away. The suppliers for the auto industry, what do we do with all those changes in jobs? I mean, look, this is a lot of stuff. And I'm not against innovation. Innovation is a big deal. It's important. And capitalism allows for creative destruction. I'm not opposed to it. If people want electric vehicles, I'm fine with all of that. But we're forcing these changes, in many cases against people's will, just to please the green gods. And we still have no idea what the long-term consequences will be. Remember back when plastic bag bans at grocery stores were all the rage? How did that turn out? Well, there's a new study out now. New analysis suggests that plastic bag ban policies, while well-intentioned, may end up having the opposite effect. The issue that comes up is that grocery bags are viewed as single-use items, but they often get a brief second lease on life as liners for small trash cans. Without the shopping bags available, people look for alternatives, which the researchers suggest means they buy small plastic garbage bags. The study found California communities with bag policies saw sales of 4-gallon trash bags increase by 55 to 75%. And sales of 8-gallon trash bags increase 87 to 110%. That's just changing your grocery bag. Imagine what could happen when they change the way every human being gets to work every day. We've seen what green policies have done so far to gas prices. I guess, at the very least, we can all take solace in the fact that we can make Elon Musk a trillionaire instead of a billionaire and let him buy all of the social media companies.
If you enjoyed this video, hit like and subscribe to our channel so you'll be sure to see similar videos from BlazeTV with the added bonus of signaling YouTube that your voice and opinion still matters. And if you're looking for more great conservative content, check out one of the 2 videos suggested here. And let's go.